잠시 뭐 리나 경계를 겹다 같은 손담 마시 진진자의 라마템이 시작이 보면 뒤쪽에 가는 곳으로 되는 거에 자진 쇼는 겹죠. 다 나눠민 게 진행나 반제도서 It's my first time coming to London, coming to UK. So I do not know whether I should say good evening or good night. Good evening. Okay. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And it's my pleasure and honor to be here. And and to talk a little bit about the book, The Restful Mind and its essence. And it is the book was published in the Kingdom. So I and to be that to share a little bit about the essence. And this book is not something that was asking me, is this book a product of a wish to write a book, and it came about. So I was sharing with her that it's actually when we were doing a daily meditation, which we do as part of our daily life, then these reflections that is in the book just came about, and then the book came about as a result of meditation. No, we did not write the book, so I did not meditate in order to write a book, so to speak. So I would like to approach this tonight, what we are going to talk about, as a person who is in a Buddhist practitioner, who has received the Buddhist trainings of meditation, especially the tradition of the Drupa order, and how we, and myself and the monastic orders, how we do our usually daily meditations, and what does meditation means to us, because it might be slightly different from what it usually means to the modern world. Because I think many times nowadays the modern world needs meditation because of the stress, right? Job stress, relationship stressed, mainly because stressed. And so if that is the only reason why motivation is done, then I think many of us are not working in a big company, and so we don't have that kind of stress. So the stress is just a part of, the part of the stress release is part of the result of meditation. So what is the purpose of meditation? I think it is mentioned in the book that you become what you think, and you are what you think, as the Buddha said. Like now the what do you call it? The health doctors, they say that you are what you eat. So Buddha said similarly is you are what you think. So our different personalities, different experiences that we go through, is basically all of these are coming into fruition or coming in very much in our mind. So the meditation from the Buddhist point of view is about, firstly it's about stilling your mind and relaxing your mind, which is I think very normal, which I think is everybody is very familiar about. But the second part of meditation is more about not just stilling your mind, but once you have stilled the mind, for example, let you still a pond of the water. There's a pond, and it is a very still. There's no wave, no current, no muddy, and then you can see the depth of the pond, and then you understand, what is the below, what is the color of the water. So similarly, the second step after the stilling the mind is to understand the mind itself. What is the mind? How does it work? And what can I do to transform my mind so that I can transform my life? Because every action that we do, mind is the one that initiates it. Whether you're walking, whether you're talking, everything starts with a mind, a motivation or a mind. So the first part of the meditation that we do in our daily life, which is very much covered in the book is called the breathing meditation. The breathing meditation. In another word, it is called the concentration meditation. So in these part of these meditations, the focus is very much to bring your mind to the present, and then focus on a certain things. It can be object, it can be anything, even your own body. For example, there are certain meditations where you focus on your toes, on your the leg, on your different parts of your body, and different step by step you focus on your body. And today we are in this book we are talking about the breathing meditation, which is the focus on the breathing. So this is something which I thought we will do also before this session ends. So the first step, meditation is very much about bringing your mind to the present, and then developing a sense of focus. This is something that is very much needed in the beginning, and this is something that I think the modern world usually they really that is what when I read about the meditation, how it's described generally in the modern world, they usually talk about this part, the stilling the mind, resting the mind, and de-stressing the mind. And it works. It works very well and I will later explain to you why it works from my experience point of view, from my understanding. But for I will say that, but if we stop there, if our meditation is just about resting our mind, if we stop there, then there is not much of transformation going to happen in our life. Because when you are doing this stilling kind of meditation, the stilling your mind meditation, you will feel a sense of peace. Yes, you will feel a sense of rested. But then once you get up from your meditation, many of you might experience that. Once you get up from your meditation, then the same problems are still very much in there. You are the same person, the same situation, so not much has changed. So basically, the meditation has also been in another way of escaping from our problems. For example, when we have a lot of problems, sometimes we go to a bar, have a nice drink, we get knocked out, and of course, for a while we escape from our problems. But in the morning, all the problems are there, plus hangover. So we haven't really solved anything, right? So if we cannot go to especially for someone to understand the meditation from the Buddhist point of view, that just stilling the mind is a very good beginning. It gives you a sense of peace, but it is not good enough. It needs to become deeper. The deeper, what it needs to is to understand the mind, transform the mind, and how our mind interacts with the world, how we react to each other. So the second part of the meditation is not about stilling your mind and thinking nothing, or like stopping your thoughts, but it's actually, there's a lot of thought, a lot of reflection. But these reflections are not judgmental, not from your point of view, others' point of view, but to understand the mind as it is, to understand how it works, so that way we think can be transformed, way we look at the world can be transformed. So this is the second part of the meditation that we will talk about. The first part of meditation, the stilling of the mind, with such things like techniques like the breathing meditation, and there are many other forms of meditation, like focusing on your body, as I mentioned earlier. So when you do this, why does it work? Why should meditation work? What is the logical behind it? Now, I guess, from the scientific point of view, and there are many, they say the connection between the body and the mind, and then, they say that if you do meditation, then it develops certain part of your body which is associated with happiness, peace, and compassion. But I don't think I'm the right person to speak, because I am not a scientist. So I should speak from my own personal understanding from Buddhist point of view. So the reason why this still meditation gives a sense of peace is because when you are doing the concentration meditation, like the breathing meditation, your mind is very much in the present. Firstly, there are a few reasons. Firstly, our mind is very much in the present. So why does our mind being in the present gives us a sense of rest, sense of restfulness? Because most of us are usually either we are thinking a lot about, recollecting a lot about past experiences. And not only are we just recollecting, it is not like a recollecting in a sense like watching old movies, but these recollections are having effect on our mind. For example, if some wonderful things have happened, sense of loneliness, sense of longing, if some sense of something terrible had happened, and replaying it in mind, feeling the hurt, it is going on because of too much of reflection on the past. Even though past is gone, it cannot be gotten back, and the future is very uncertain. None of us, I think, if we look back at ourselves when we are 10 or 15 years old and thought how I will lead my life will be, I think I cannot say, I will say that almost all of us, our life has never gone the way we dreamed when we were a child or teenager. Mine definitely not. So yet we hold on to our past, and these past, by holding on to it, it gives us is a reason for a lot of pain. For example, let's say that any experience of, let's say, somebody saying a word which is hurtful to us, right? Let's say yesterday said that, or forget about yesterday, just during this morning somebody said a very hurtful word to us, and we can still feel the pain. So from emotional point of view, we can go on about it. He said like that, so painful. But if you go it from from the restful mind point of view, let's say, that incident that happened, which that person has said a hurtful word to you, if you clock it, it's probably about 3 minutes. Right? Nobody can abuse us for 1 hour continuously, right? Unless that person is really cuckoo or something. Then of course you don't need to care. But that incident that happened for 2 or 5 minutes, we replay it in our mind, sometimes for weeks, months, and years, and we still feel the pain. So that time, the pain is not coming from the person, because the person might even be dead by now. But still we can feel the pain because we cannot let go. We are very much in the past. And similarly, sometimes we are very much in the future, very much so in the future that we are imagining so many terrible things may or may not happen, hope and fear, so much of things that we are getting worried, we are getting tense about something that actually may never happen. So what is the wrong with that? You can say, what is the wrong with, now with the past we can say, what is wrong with thinking about the future and dreaming a lot about it? Well, one of the losses, I won't say right or wrong, I think that is not my judgment to say right and wrong, but one of the losses of things is that if we are too much into the future, it creates a lot of anxiety, and more importantly, you forget the present. And we are talking about enjoying life for happiness of the life, but life doesn't start tomorrow. Right now, right this moment is also our life. So at this moment also, whatever we have in terms of health, family, whatever joy, why should we not be able to draw joy from these things? So, when you do the breathing meditation, you are at that moment when you are doing the focusing your meditation, your mind it automatically has to come into the present. So when you are doing the breathing meditation, because when you are breathing, it is not just just breathe in and breathe out, but your mind has to be focused together. It's not like usually, for example, if you ask usually how many times did we breathe? You know, I think none of us know, you know. I think because we are totally unaware. So awareness and bringing mind to the present. So with the mind present, you concentrate on your breathings, breathing meditation, breathe in, breathe out. It brings mind to the point where it is not about past, not about future, but very much in the present moment. Awareness of the present life comes. So one of the benefit of, you know, this awareness can be, I think, what I'm not sure exactly, but one of the masters, you know, he was asked by somebody, I think it's in the book also, that what do you find most confusing about, you know, in this world? He said, human beings confuse me most. Because he said that human beings sacrifice their health in order to gain wealth. And they spend their wealth in order to regain their, you know, health. And they live like they are never going to die. And they die having never lived. So when you say they live like they are never going to die, it actually, what he is saying is that we are so busy imagining about the future, we forget to live the present. You know, see the joy in the face of our children, our family, our friend, our health. You know, but rather, you know, we are busy imagining about the future. So that's, I think, what he meant. Now, the second reason when you do the meditation, such as mainly concentration meditation, we call it awareness and concentration meditation, the reason why you feel sense of peace is also because when we do the breathing meditation, the mind automatically comes to a neutral point, neutral state of the mind. The neutral state of the mind is because when you are, you know, because let's say what is not neutral is usually, for example, is hope and fear, which can translate into, you know, it can translate into jealousy, it can translate into anger. So usually, for example, it is impossible that you can be happy and angry at the same time, jealous and angry at the same time. So you cannot be, you know, these emotions like anger and happiness, peace of mind and happiness, jealousy, does not go with each other. Actually, this is, you know, so this meditation, which is part of Buddhist meditation, is also about firstly bringing your mind to a neutral point of mind where it is free of such afflicting emotions. You know? And this is also actually one of the reasons why I myself am interested in Buddhist teachings and practice is because of that. For myself, even though I am born in a very conservative and Buddhist, you know, the kind of tradition, the simple reason why I am a Buddhist and Buddhist practitioner is because entire Buddhist teaching, sometimes it looks very complicated. Like, I mean, you guys, I can imagine, you know, you guys are wearing dark suits and, you know, nice clothes, and here looking guy in orange clothes, right, bright orange, you know, very, I think, you know, kind of, you know. So all of these, even to including the orange color, flesh cloth, the different ceremonies, prayers, it all entire Buddhist teaching, if you ask what is the purpose, it is to tame the mind. That's it. Entire Buddhist practice from Sri Lanka, Theravada to Tibetan Vajrayana with so much ritual, entire process is simply to tame the mind, transform the mind, understand the mind. Why I find it attractive is because I've, you know, for example, when I feel sense of upset, sense of anger, you know, I always tell myself, this anger is causing me unhappiness. Why am I making myself unhappy? You know? I don't want unhappiness. I don't want anger. If somebody is in, you know, creating such a situation where, of course, you can create a situation where you are distant from this situation, but sense of anger and sense of hatred does not make any sense, any logic. So since entire Buddha Dharma is about diminishing or transforming anger, hatred, jealousy, you know, and the sense of, you know, the joy, it comes automatically. So that is my interest in Buddhism, because I want to be happy, and I cannot be happy and angry at the same time, happy and jealous at the same time. And the Dharma teaches about taming the mind, and that gives me a sense of happiness. That is the reason why I am a Buddhist, in the Buddhist practitioner. Now, so when we do the breathing meditation, the mind automatically comes into a neutral state of the mind. The neutral state of the mind is because when you're doing breathing meditation, such a thing, you are neither angry, you are not jealous, nor are you caught up in hope and fear, which is usually, I think all of us are very much caught in hope and fear. That is exactly the reason why our mind never gets rest. For example, when we come back from the office, we are lying on a bed, our physical body is getting rest, but our mind is never getting rest. So much of thoughts are going on. Will it go like this? Will it not go like this? You go to a holiday, we go to holiday. Will I reach airport on the time? Will I get a great service? Will I get the view, the room with the ocean view? Will the nice weather be nice? So there's a lot of hope and fear, not just little bit, but all the time. So the mind almost never gets rest. So when you do the breathing meditation for the first time in, perhaps, I think, unless I guess when we're unconscious, we get mind gets to kind of come to a state point where it's very neutral and where it's rested. So this is I will say the reason that when you do the breathing and the stillness meditation, the sense of, you feel a sense of rest and sense of, the de-stressing, and mostly a sense of, a kind of, sense of peace, I would say, it comes about. So that is the first meditation is very much called breathing meditation. And the purpose of that is to bring your mind to the present and the mind to a neutral state of the mind. Then the second onwards, from these onwards, the next meditations which we do, first is called asking ourselves, what is happiness? And how can I be, what is happiness? And what is happiness, satisfaction, and appreciation, the understanding, the contemplating on these three things. So the question from these onwards, meditation is not just about stilling your mind, but it is actually a reflection. It is a reflection on your own life. So you can reflect according to our own experience of life. For myself, when I was about 25 years old, I think, I was in the South America with my teacher, His Holiness the Gyawan Drupa. So I asked my teacher, what is happiness in this world? So please, please note that I was not talking about, happiness in the sense of, enlightenment or the great bliss. I was not talking about that. I'm just saying, generally in this world, what is happiness? What is greatest happiness in this world? So I thought at that time, His Holiness will say that to be in love is to be happy. The greatest happiness is feeling of being in love. Because I thought, that when I looked at the movies and, it looked like people in love, everything is perfect, the world is perfect in just a second as long as you're in love. So His Holiness answered me that the greatest happiness in this world is satisfaction. So when I thought about it, I thought that is very true. Yes, it is true that you are in love. When you're happy, when you're in love, we are very happy. As long as you are satisfied with the person you are in love with. Yet it is true that a great job, a great success can give you happiness as long as we are satisfied with that. The moment we are dissatisfied, it doesn't matter how the world thinks you have a great life. What a wonderful family you have. What a wonderful job you have. Or it doesn't matter. We no longer feel happy. So satisfaction is the key to happiness. So if satisfaction is the key to happiness, then of course we must pursue it. It's logical. We must pursue that happiness, the satisfaction. So when you are pursuing happiness, there's two ways. One is the meditation way, and one is I think how we normally pursue. And of course, again, I'm not here to say right and wrong. I'm just to point out the options. So the first option is to pursue it outside. So if you pursue it outside, I don't think it is completely bad, but you know, a lot of work involved. You know. For example, you know, let's say you get a promotion today. I don't think you'll immediately get a promotion after 3-4 months, right? You know, I don't think you will get immediately there. So in between, what are we supposed to do? Are we suffer? You know, do we have to suffer because we can't get promotion? And then after we do get promotion, maybe we are no longer satisfied with that. We need something else. So again, we are supposed to be suffering. You know? Or if you are no longer happy with the relationship, what do we do? Do we change the person? You know? And I do not know in United Kingdom, but I think from what I read in newspapers, I think in America, you know, I think to get divorced is very expensive. You know, if you search too much for happiness in the marriage, you'll probably end up, you know, with penniless. You know, not able to pursue externally. You know? So anyway, there is a, you know, anyway, this is how we usually do. We pursue, you know, outside. We pursue, you know, maybe the next person might make me happy, next job might make me happy, you know. And frankly speaking, I am not saying that we should not be progressive, especially in relationship. I do not really think it's a good idea to, you know, pursue change in relationships so often. You know, I do not think. But in general, in your life, in a career, to some extent, progress is very good. But my point is that if we cannot find a way to enjoy, you know, what we have right now, you know, your first promotion, what is the guarantee that second promotion will make you happy? If the first marriage is not working out, what is the guarantee that second marriage, you know, will work out? Unless we do something differently, you know, we create a different condition. Yes, we are different, they are different. We, you know, create a different world maybe. So we have to be able to find a sense of joy in the present, what we have. So the last, actually, you know, first is what is happiness, satisfaction. How do you pursue satisfaction? Outside or inside? So in the inside, how do we pursue satisfaction? In that meditation is called appreciation meditation. You know? So in this meditation, basically we remember all the positive things that we have in our life. You know? Whether it's a good health, family, wealth, success, whatever we have, to remember them and to, you know, to draw joy from at this present moment what we have, rather than what we have lost in the past or what we might have in the future, rather to draw in the present, you know, joy from that. And that is actually very logical, very smart, from my point of view. Usually people say that I do not like, you know, religion and spirituality because, you know, it is a very much kind of, you know, illogical things. You know, religion is spiritual, illogical things. But if you really, from my point of view, when I think we are the very illogical. For example, you know, let's say that all of us right now, I think from what I can see, none of us has a toothache, right? You know? So do any of us feel happy that I don't have a toothache? You know, I appreciate the fact I have a great teeth. I don't have a toothache. I don't think so. So in order for us to feel happy, what do we have to do is, first we have to get a toothache, you know, and then we have to go to our dentist, you know, and then he will give us a big injection, take out teeth very painfully, and we have to pay him hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars, and we feel so happy. You know, wow, you know, I am so great now. I have no pain, and I am so happy. You know? How is that logical? In order to feel happiness that we have no toothache, we have to get toothache, pay the dentist, and then, you know, feel happy. Please, if there's any ladies and gentlemen who are dentists, you know, please, you know, I'm just giving example. You know? My sister is a dentist, you know. So, you know, how logical is that? So, the point of this appreciation meditation is not that you should not pursue success, but that we should, through the appreciation meditation of whatever we have, that we have not lost yet, we have in our life, be it family, be it health, we should draw a sense of joy, sense of satisfaction from them, you know, from these situations in our life, by remembering them, by acknowledging them, you know. So that is the first type of meditation that we do in our daily life. First is called the appreciation meditation. Then the second meditation is called meditating on the changing nature of the life. So when we meditate on that, this is to remind us that everything in our life is like a river, that is constantly changing, constantly moving, constantly moving. It may look like it is not. For example, if I say that, are we getting old every second? You will say, no, not at all. You look same. You even look younger today. Some people, kind people might say that, but it is not true actually. Every second we are changing, right? We are getting older, we are changing. Even this building, I was told is 18th century, So from 18th century to now, of course, with a lot of repaint and all, but still I'm sure many changes are, has happened to this building. Every second it is changing. So this second part of meditation is about meditating on the changing nature of everything in terms of building, in terms of power, in terms of relationship. For example, in the relationship, usually we see change as like only big changes. For example, when people are divorced and say, oh, now they were together for 2 years, now they're divorced, so it's a big change, or somebody has died, we see the big changes. But actually, if we reflect on the changing nature of everything, even though we are together until we do death, until death do us apart, for 50 years we are together in a relation, friendship or whatever. Every second the relationship is going through transformation. It's evolving, you can say it. It's evolving, it's changing. Why? Because relationship is emotion between two people. And every second we are getting different emotions. In a positive way, we can say relationship is getting deeper and deeper, more meaningful, or we can go the opposite way. But whatever it is, whether it's more meaningful or what, it is going through a change. It is changing. So this house is going through constant change. If we are going to be president for 10 years, every second our term is changing, nearing the change. So now this meditation, what does it, what is the result we want it from that. Now I can go in a very, to share a little bit of, I can go, we can say, let's say superficially first, let's say superficially speaking. Superficially speaking or not, if you don't go so deep, this meditation helps us to understand that there is no point in holding on to anything, right? So for example, there's no point in holding on to, for example, if I have a nice car or a nice house, or your wealth or whatever, because it is by nature, it is subject to constant change. A relationship is also going to constantly change. So rather the point is not about, how long certain things last, but it is about, during that, whatever the relationship has lasted, how meaningful it is, how much joy we can give to each other, how much happiness we can get. Now, why I say that this sense of, the releasing the sense of clingingness helps is because when you are clinging to a lot, to a relationship or to anything with a sense that, things are not changing, things are permanent, it creates a sense of, the sense of extreme attachment and sense of fear. And that sense of fear makes you jealous, makes us weak, makes us suspicious, makes us a lot of fear and insecurity comes. Instead of everything in our life, understanding that it is by nature subject to change. So that if things are going by nature is subject to change, then the question is what, this changing nature of the life, what can I do to maximize it to the full, Now that is, generally I speak like that. Now one more thing I would like to share, from my experience is that, sometimes in my life, quite recently actually, one lady, one daughter came to see me, and she said that, her mother has a lot of, her mother's in a sort of, mental hospital, mental sort of psychiatric things, because she lost her daughter, I think 2 years ago, to a very big accident. I'm sorry, some sort of sudden, medical emergency. And then she, from that on, even though she has 2 other children, she just kind of, very depressed about it, very sad, and she also feels she cannot do anything. So you as a, what will you advise as a Buddhist master? So I was telling to her that in our tradition, as a Buddhist practitioner, in our Buddhist family, even before we lose somebody, even we lose people we love to the death, to the change, whatever, we always remind ourselves that we are going to lose each and every one day. We are going to lose the people we love, people, our family, our loved ones, we are going to lose them. And from our point of view, the regret mostly comes not because when we lose the people we love, but when we were together, if we could not, love each other enough, if we could not give happiness to the people we love, or we could not thank them enough or love them enough, and then people we love die, then we have a sense of regret, sense of pain. But if we can understand because for us, we understand from the beginning that everybody is impermanent by nature. Every second we are getting older, every second we are nearing the change, the impermanent. So it is not something that is, that is a shocking thing. That is kind of, that we, of course, we feel pain, but not unbearably so. And we also know that this pain is not something we are going alone, but in this world, everybody is going through, even at this moment, going through this kind of, this sort of pain. So for us, I think, for us, and from this point of view, what is important is not how long it lasts or how long people are in our life, but when people are in our life, that we can relate to others in a very positive, very loving, and very meaningfully to the fullest. So that is the thing. So in another way, this meditation on the changing nature creates a sense of, the sense of, not extreme sense of attachment, sense of detachment, little sense of detachment comes about. So when we do this appreciation meditation and the changing nature meditation together, I always say the example will be, like going to a 5-star hotel. Because when you go to a 5-star hotel, you can see, that it has very luxurious bed or nice restaurant, whatever, you enjoy it. But at the back of your mind, you're going to check out tomorrow. So nobody cries when they check out from the hotel, right? I haven't seen, right? But when they're actually, I think people enjoy staying more in the hotel than in their own homes. When you are, I don't know, but usually I think, when we are sitting at home, I don't know, we sort of lie down, we look at the ceiling, I think we need the ceiling needs a bit of repainting, I think I need to arrange the chairs a little bit differently, or the gardening needs a bit of, weeding out. So instead of just sitting down, relaxing, and enjoying things we have, we are, because of too much attachment, you can say, we are worrying a lot. But when you go to 5-star hotel, it's opposite, right? You go to enjoy the things, but you're going to check out. Right? So similarly, I think, if we have that kind of, if we have a sense of appreciation, then we will be able to love the people in our life, appreciate them, draw the joy from them, yet at the same time know that every second is, to changing is the nature of the life. So there's no point of holding on to things fanatically. It is a part of it. We might need to even adapt to it. Adapt to it, So from this point of view, sometimes when I see some movies and usually the young girls, usually complain to their husband after marriage 1 or 2 years. They say that before you used to be very romantic, very loving, but now you are not. So I will say, that's probably because she didn't meditate on impermanence of relationship, which is changing every second. even if the poor husband does his effort and recreate it, it is not the same, you know. The word is recreate, you know. It is not exactly the same happening, but you are, you know, trying to create the condition to, you know, similar to that. You know. But anyway, now the third meditation. These are all actually in the book, but I'm just trying to essence and, you know, in as personal, you know, our own personal life. So the third meditation is called our interaction with the world. You know, how do we interaction with the world? Now this meditation is quite crucial because, you know, the Buddhist philosophy is that whatever is happening in our life is not predetermined. You know? It's not something that is predetermined like a destiny that you can do nothing about, but that everything in the life is created by us with various cause and conditions creates our life. And we have the ability every time when we are talking, when we are thinking, we are changing our life, we are affecting our life all the time. So we have ability to, you know, affect our life. You know? Because anyway, if there's nothing we can do to affect our life, then basically doing nothing makes sense. You know, even I mean, no point in working, no point in meditating, no point in nothing if we cannot affect our life. So, in a way, this is very, I guess, you know, this is, I guess, in line with the modern thought. Change our future by changing ourselves and changing our present. So this meditation is about, you know, reflecting on how we interact with others, and by the way that I am interacting with others, what kind of world am I creating for myself and my future? You know? What kind of life, what kind of environment am I creating? So in this meditation, firstly, the steps involved are, firstly, we try to bring to the mind people who are very much important in our life, who important in the sense that they have an effect on our life. It can be our boss, it can be our wife, husband, parents, children, so and so. You know? So first we remember them, you know, by face. You know? I'm sure usually people will say, you know, no, I don't remember my boss, you know, not until Monday, you know, I don't want to remember him. You know? But in this meditation, you know, unfortunately, we do have to do that, you know. So you remember these people in your life, you know, and then the next step is to, you know, remove the labeling, you know, of these people, that he is my boss, you know, my wife, my husband, you know, so and so. You remove this labeling, because you know, we are always saying, you know, that we should be understanding to each other, we should be loving to each other, but you know, the fact that you have a labeling automatically prevents us from, you know, understanding each other, and it creates a sense of, you know, I don't know, I would say a sense of, I don't know, you know, a sense of projection, entitlement, sense of projection. I mean, in Asia, you know, usually I am joking to the parents that sometimes parents should remove the labeling of the children so that, you know, they will not always demand obedience, you know. And the children should remove the labeling of the parents so that they can, you know, stop from always, you know, asking for pocket money, you know, as if it's their right. You know. Parent, of course, give me pocket money, you know, it's my right. You know. So this labeling, so boss, you know, of course, you know, and then ex-wife, you know, ex-husband, you know, kind of, you know, sometimes we have this labeling. So in this sort of, to kind of, you know, so when you have this labeling, it traps you into certain kind of, you know, the emotional reaction, you know, which is automatic emotional reaction. It's like it is your duty, you know, of course, your wife, it is your duty, your husband, you know, this is the boss. So in this type of meditation, firstly, you recollect the people in your life, and then secondly, you remove the labeling and just simply see them as yourself, how you see yourself. Like, I am a person who wants happiness, who doesn't want suffering, and he, be it my boss, be it my father, be it my wife, is simply a person who wants happiness and the way I want happiness, who doesn't want suffering the way I do not want suffering. She's that first, and then she or she is my wife second, my husband second, my boss second. You know? So So that I can, you understand that. That is the second step. The third step is to understand that how do I, interact with them. For example, I wish for a love, I wish for a forgiveness, I wish for understanding. But when I interact with these people in my life, am I forgiving? By forgiving, by understanding, am I creating the conditions, for me to receive these things from them? Now, how does that affect our life and our future? Is because, whenever situations have happened in our life, certain painful situations, usually we know very much what wrong other people have done. We are very clear, crystal clear on that. But we are not that clear, or we don't want to really look into what are the part that I did to create this condition. I have a two hand to clap. This hand I know, but this hand, my right hand, what did I do to create this condition? Because if we do not understand how we interact with others, how we behave, and how others will perceive, if we do not understand how we interact with others, then even if you change, the person or change the situation, change the country, external conditions, the same situation might get repeated again and again. So I don't know. Some people, I remember, they say that I'm always making the same mistake again, over and over. Because you might change the outer condition, but from yourself, the condition which perpetuated the situation is very much there. So, if we do not change that, there's not much logical reason why, the next situation is going to be any different. So this is the third meditation is very much about, bringing the people in and it's about checking ourselves. Anyway, the last, the meditation is called, and one more thing I wanted to mention is that it's quite crucial, is that, so if you feel, when you reflect on our interaction with others, how I behave to others, whether I give love, whether am I understanding, forgiving, if we feel that we have not been so perfect, that is okay. That is why we are not Buddha. If we are all perfect, then we are Buddha, and that doesn't matter. We will not be in this situation anyway. So this is not about self-judgment. It's just about understanding the conditions which we are creating for our future, headaches we are creating for our future, and changing the conditions, so that we don't, there. And if we feel that we have been creating the negative conditions, the point is not about guilt, the point is not about regret, but the point is about what can I do to change my, change my future. Because in the, the Shantideva, he said very clearly that, in the one of the, the master said that, if there's something you can do about it, then you should do about it. And if there's nothing you can do about it, then don't worry about it. There's no point. If there's something you can do about it, you should change it. So this is about that. What can I do to change my, change my conditions which I'm creating myself? It's not about blaming or the things. The fourth meditation which is done daily is called meditation on. The title we call ourselves is reflection in the mirror and not making a big fuss. The last one. So why is it called reflection in the mirror? Is that when you look in the mirror, when you see your reflection, the reflection is very detailed. You can see you can see your skin color. You can see your eyes, everything. You can see even the smallest bit of the changes in your new wrinkles or new pimples or you can see everything. Yet we know we will never say that the reflection is real. We will say that it's a reflection of my body. We are worried because when we see the pimple in the mirror because it is on body. We are not worried because it's in the mirror. That is just a reflection, right? We think it's just a reflection. So now this reflection is not real let's say from our understanding point, it's not real. Yet how did this reflection comes about? It's because of lightning, because of the mirror, and because our body, all these conditions come together, then something called, reflection has come about. Right? So we use this example to understand that everything in our life is also like a reflection in the mirror. By many conditions come together, something called, reality. For example, for example, yesterday, when I was in the, for example, when I was in Monaco just a few days ago, I was in the, we went for when in the plane, when we were flying, we could, see that in I think just few kilometers, maybe 5 kilometers, there's a France, Italy, and then Monaco, in just three, I think they are just like 10, 15 minutes drive to each other. So why is it that, as soon as you cross from France into Monaco, immediately the land price becomes so expensive. Apartments are so expensive, real estate is so expensive. Right? And as soon as you cross back into France, it's cheaper, Italy is even cheaper. So what is that? Why is it that? So isn't that similar to the reflection in the mirror? Because in the reflection mirror, for the reflection to exist, you need a lot of conditions. Right? So similarly, in our life, we need a lot of conditions to experience something, to understand something as expensive, cheap, and all. But the most important condition is our concept, our conceptual mind. Is our conceptual mind says that Monaco, to be in Monaco by condition, it's very expensive. So it has become expensive. If expensive is not something that is conceptual and conditional thing, but it's very real, how is it possible that something, I don't know, in London, I don't know the real estate, I haven't been to London much, first time, but something that doesn't have that much of real estate value may next year become so expensive. Right? What has changed? Has gold come out from, there have been gold found, discovered, oil discovered? Nothing. Because of various causes and conditions, most importantly, conceptually, it is called as the high-end area, so it has become expensive. Isn't that the reason, why when the televisions do advertising, what is the purpose of advertising? Is to change our mind, change our concept, right? If we can change, our concept can be changed to say that such a thing is fashionable, such a thing is expensive, then it is expensive. So, so when you say, I'm in the West, of course, when we get engaged, like you need to, I think the diamond ring is very, valuable, and very bigger the diamond means bigger the love, I was told, But from this meditation point of view, the question is, who says diamond is expensive? Does the diamond say I am expensive? Or we collectively said it is expensive. Diamond is very valuable. So similarly, what is rich and what is poor? Like when I was in a Singapore school about 1 year ago, and the talk was about different religion and their relationship to the wealth. How do Buddhists view wealth? Does Buddhism mean that you have to be poor, you have to stay in a cave, you cannot have wealth? What is the view on wealth? So I was telling them that from a Buddhist point of view, the most important on the wealth is to, you can have it or you don't have it, but not to take it too seriously. So how you don't take it too seriously is, imagine that few hundred years ago, if you are a very rich man, how would you travel in the streets of London? Probably in a carriage, very nice carriage, and the Arabian horse, of course, very nice carriage, and everybody will say, wow, he must be a very rich man, look at his horse. But in this 21st century, if a successful man goes out in the middle of the street on a horse, everybody will laugh at him. So what has changed during this time? The concept has changed. So like the reflection in the mirror, the conditions have changed, so concept, what is the reality state of what is considered nice or wealthy has changed. Now forget about, the external things. Let's look deeply into what is ourself, our own idea of what is happiness and what is pain. Even these ideas of pain and happiness are also very much like a reflection in the mirror. For example, you can reflect yourself. There are certain times in our life when we want privacy, when we want privacy, maybe during teenage time or whatever time, at any time in life, we want to be alone, we want privacy, we want to be alone. And at that time, if people are bothering us, we get very upset, we get very unhappy. Then okay, people stop bothering you. 1 month is very great, very peaceful. 2 months is quite okay, and nothing great. And 3-4 months start to feel a bit lonely. And at that time, you feel a bit lonely. At that time, if somebody calls you to how are you, you feel very happy. So don't you think the other people will also be confused, They don't know whether does he want company into love or do they not want company in love? What will make that person happy? They also don't know, confused. So during this time, what has changed? At a certain point in our life, we had a concept that I want peace. For me, happiness is freedom, sense of being unchained to freedom. And at that moment, I think at that time, happiness to us is something that is, no call, nobody bothering us, and that is happiness. And then after a few months, the conditions have changed, especially concept has changed. That, why is that? Do I not matter? Does people know that I even exist? Do I, am I nobody? Do people even care whether I'm alive or not? Am I not loved? So when you have that sort of concept, saying that to be wanted, to be loved, to be popular is happiness. At that time, if people call you, people are like, we feel so happy. So what is happiness? Also, if it's not something like, image in the mirror. So like, one of the jokes that I usually share is like when a lot of people come to Bhutan, and there's a place called Tiger Nest, which is very high in the mountain, very holy place of Guru Padmasambhava from Buddhist point of view. So, usually when people reach the top, the Tiger Nest, they feel really happy because they've climbed for 2 hours and feel sense of, kind of, joy, the view and all. So then but just next to them is a tour guide, who has been there like 100 times, and who is getting bored, saying, when will this foreigner go down? I am like so many times. So how come that someone standing next to each other is feeling entirely different, experience or different idea, different concept of happiness, based on the cause and condition, but especially the concept. Like whenever I used to come from school or my Bhutan, I always used to think, for me it is a school. For Bhutanese, it's a pilgrimage place. For foreigners, it's a place to see a touristic site. How 3 different experiences we are all going through. And then like in Monaco, I was just sharing that. I don't know in London, but in Monaco and Paris, there's a Buddha bar. There's a nice Buddha Shakyamuni, and I sang, and Buddha, 2-story Buddha, and I was saying that is also a reflection in the mirror. For me, Buddha is somebody is a very holy, full of blessing, and then I go there. When I see Buddha, it inspires me, reminds me of Buddha teaching, and I feel peaceful, because of the conditions. For people, everybody who go to Buddha bar, I don't think they feel like that. They're probably different sense. So similar. So if you look at like that, everything in our life, whether what. And fashion is also like that, right? If fashion is not something like that, why is it every year fashion changes? You look at the back of the olden days in England, the fashion is something, you have the skirts which are like, few kilometers, behind. So the idea of this meditation is not about, the idea of meditation is that since everything is very much conceptual and conditioned, there is no point being very fanatic about it. So if you want to put it into practice, I usually tell them that, I usually tell a Buddhist, this usually I tell, because in the Buddhist, there's a concept saying that, there's a saying that the truth of reflection like mirror is everyday life that you don't realize it. So I usually tell that if, as a Buddhist, if you're having a, if you're having a discussion with your wife, and your husband, And you know that you are right. You have done your research. You have done, so everything. You have done you know how right you are. Yet no matter how much logical argument you give, your partner cannot see how right you are. You know you are right. But she cannot agree with you. He cannot agree with you. So I tell them, as a Buddhist, that is the greatest opportunity for you to understand the mirror-like nature of the life. For you, because of your condition and conceptual, this is a right, and it is right for you. But for her or him, because of their own cause and condition, it's not right, it's wrong. So ultimately, who is right? We are both right and we are both wrong. So there's no point in, being fanatic about our point. So this is the, what we, the daily meditation is, kind of idea is like that. So the reason why I wanted to share, if I talk about the book, of course we can just talk about the book, but then basically you are going to read the book, So, I'll just be repeating. But from my point of view, because I will not be meeting you guys, I don't know how many, book will be with you. I mean, you can just buy it, it will be with you throughout your life, Or you can borrow it, It's okay, I'm not here to sell the book. That's not my intention, It really doesn't matter to me. My intention is to share give a sense of happiness, a bit of understanding to share. But once you know the thinking, the meditating, the contemplative meditation, the thought process which comes in the book will come naturally. And next year, if all of you are busy writing Restful Mind, that is my success. It's not an amount of book I've sold. Book is sold. So that is why I wanted to give you, where did the book spin off from? With what kind of meditation it spin off from? And lastly, I would like to ask everyone to do a bit of breathing meditation. So, in the breathing meditation, to be aware of one's breathing and to be present, that is the same in any other tradition. The difference in the Drupa tradition is that whenever you breathe out, whenever we breathe out, we visualize or imagine, you can say, that a black sort of smoke or a black energy comes out from our body. And that energy is our anger, frustration, sadness, whatever comes out. And whenever we breathe in, if you're a Buddhist, the blessing of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If not, generally the positiveness in this world, compassion, goes into our system. So this is the difference of the skillful method addition of Vajrayana. Okay. So firstly, we breathe out a long exhalation from both the nostrils. Black smoke. And then you block your left nostril like this. And then you breathe in deeply from the right nostril, the positive light. And you keep the air in your tummy for a few seconds. And then you exhale from the left nostril while blocking the right. Slowly, long exhalation. And then you breathe in deeply from the left. Keep the air in the tummy for a few seconds. And breathe out from the right. And then we breathe in from both the nostrils this time. Keep the air in the tummy for a few seconds and exhale with a force. This is one set. The second set begins with blocking the left nostril and breathing deeply from the right. And you breathe out from the left. Breathe in from the left. And breathe out from the right. And breathe in from both the nostrils, long and slow. Keep the air in the tummy for a few seconds and exhale with a force. Two set. The third set is to block the left, breathe in from the right. Breathe out from the left. Breathe in the white positive energy from the left. Breathe out the negative smoke from the right. Breathe in from both the nostrils. Keep the air in the tummy for a few seconds and then exhale with a slight force. So this is what neutral mind feels like, neutral state of mind. And so 3 sets is the minimum that we do, and then we can increase it slowly up to 10 set, 30 set, but it is recommended that when you do meditation, if you do in the beginning, if you do for a very long hour at one stretch, then sometimes because we are not used to focusing, so we tend to feel very tensed in the mind. So it's recommended that you do for maximum 5 minutes, 2 minutes break, and then do it again. So among all the meditation, the first step is always the concentration meditation, be it the breathing meditation or be it focusing on your different body, and that is the first step. And then the second goes towards analytical meditation, which is the 4 things that we went through. And then the last meditation, which is done for the little bit more advanced meditationer, is to remain aware in the spaciousness of your mind without labeling, without any labeling. So that is and these, it's a kind of sequence if you do it, because firstly the concentration meditation is like a torch focused light. With that focused light, you turn the focused light into your mind, how you react, how you think, and what is it? Is it true that life is like a reflection, like a mirror, or is it true, or does something external exist? As we label it, we label happiness, we label sadness, we label great, small. Does labeling really exist? As we exist without these conditions, inherently exist or not? So when this meditation is done, it helps us to the last meditation, which is to remain aware in the spaciousness of the mind without labeling. Be aware of every emotion, positive, negative, without labeling, just remain aware. So these 3 meditations supports each other. It is steps. Thank you very much.